Alright guys, welcome to Amateur Hour with Dan, where amateur games meet amateur commentary and analysis. Topic for today is going to be Respect the X. I'm just going to let this game start to play here. This is a 3-point, everyone here is currently rated 3.2 duper, so nothing too high level here. This is my first time playing with Fitzroy. You're going to see us at the back end of the court. Fitzroy, we played a few games this day at this tournament here at the PWA West tournament. He likes to play big, so I think you're going to see him take quite a lot of the court, and that's fine. But we're going to do a little bit of a breakdown. I think after playing with Fitzroy that day that we could have done better using the principle Respect the X. Respect the X is a rule that was developed by Tony Roig at Better Pickleball, so I would suggest if you want more details to go and check his information out. But I'm going to try and work through this. I'm going to pause at points that I think we might have a demonstration of what Respect the X could do for this game. And we'll see if I can apply those principles for a better game next time. I will note one thing that I found, and the reason why I think Respect the X might help us, and I'd like to note also that we did not discuss this principle beforehand. This is our first day playing together, and in retrospect now, I think that I could play better with the principles of Respect the X with a partner, especially one who likes to play big, and yeah, so our first situation is actually going to come up soon. So if you're not familiar with Respect the X, the idea is the ball in the middle should be handled by whoever it is that is a cross from the player hitting it on the diagonal. As you just saw right there, the ball was hit diagonally over to Fitz, and he handled it. I didn't come over and try and take it. That's respecting the X. Okay. Now we're coming up to a spot where I think Fitz actually breaks the X. That's right. Is it that one right there? Let's rewind just a little bit. Okay, let's see. So he handles that. It came cross court. Okay, here. Perfect. So this is a good example of where Respect the X might have helped us. So the player on the right is hitting the ball towards me. It's in the center. And as you can see, I'm crouched, I'm ready with my backhand, and instead Fitzroy decides to come over because he can reach it with his forehand and take that ball. Now, one of the principles of Respect the X is that it's harder to hit a ball that's moving away from you than one that is moving towards you. So this ball on the X-axis would be moving towards me but away from Fitzroy. So let's see what happens when he comes over, breaks the X, which is fine in certain situations, of course. And let's see how that plays out. Okay, so went into the net. So it's a harder, because it was coming across, it's a harder dink to handle. So in that situation, it didn't work out too well. The other thing that I'd like to see if we were to apply Respect the X, is that I technically should not be crowding in the center of the court. So if I can recognize the ball's on, that's a perfect example right there. Let's actually rewind that. So the player directly across from me, the player directly across from me is going to receive the ball. When he receives the ball, he has two options. Here we go. I think it's coming up right there. Okay. Now in this situation, you can take a look at where I'm standing. I'm standing closer to the center. Where I should be standing is closer to the edge or the line, and protecting my line. The reason being because this player who's about to hit the ball has two choices. He can either hit cross court, and if he hits cross court, whose ball is that? It's Fitzroy's. If he decides to go straight, that's my ball. So there's no reason for me to be crowding the center as I am right now. And I think this ends up working out because I do reach over and get the ball, but I would have been in a better position if I was prepared for the line drive and not trying to also cover the center, which is not my ball. Okay, I survived that, but that was a bad lunge. If I was in a better position, I could have handled that a lot better. That was a pretty iffy shot. Okay, hit a nice one right out of the park. Now there are times when breaking the X is a good thing. For example, in a situation where your partner is behind you and you can get to the ball earlier, you can break the X. It's, you might refer to that as poaching because it takes time away from the enemy team. So that's a perfect example. Another good example is, when you're playing, like I'm playing on left now, there is a perfect one. Let's take a look at that. So let's see who's on the diagonal when this shot is made. Okay, so here we can see this. Let's pause it right there. Okay, so in this situation, the ball, even though it's being hit on an angle, Fitzroy is there before me. It probably would be going to my backhand, and he seems confident to handle this on his forehand and then recover over to his side. So let's see how this plays out. So this is breaking the X, and let's see if this was a good decision. He went directly ahead, so that's good. And I whiffed it. So all in all, Fitzroy decided to break the X in this situation, and it was the right choice. I think he took time away from the opponent. We probably could have finished that point, but I was just a little surprised by that kind of weird pop-up there. Okay, directly at me, that's mine. Directly at him is his. Alright, coming across. He intercepted it, that's fine. And I whiffed it again. So, as I mentioned before, this is 3.2 level play. You're going to see a lot of errors. But I'm not really going to focus too much on technical mistakes. Those are things that I can work on at another point. Right now, we're really just focused on if that strategy of Respect the X would help us to be more cooperative as a team. Okay, so we're coming up to another... I think we're coming up to another point when the X gets broken. Just enjoying my coffee here while we go through this. Okay, so we got our serve, return. Let's pause right here. Okay, so again, where is this shot going? If the shot is going cross court, then there's no need for me to be close to the center. I'd like to see myself over towards the sideline a little bit more. Alright, it went into the center, but it was a straight shot and Fitzroy had his forehand there, so that's perfect. Dumped it into the net. Alright. So that was good. I think even with Respect the X, if you're going to play a stacking position like we are, the player on the left is going to take more of the center shots, that's for sure, especially if it's a straight shot down the center. Okay, good choice there. Now, here we go. Let's take a look at this. So, now, I'm in the center because the ball was being played by my opponent diagonal to me. The ball's coming over, and whose ball is it if it's in the center? As you can see, we're both reaching for this ball. And one of us is, if you take a look at Fitzroy's body position, he's in an awkward reaching position, whereas I am set in a good squat, ready for the backhand reset. So, whose ball is this? Technically, I think it's mine. If we're respecting the X, he could have let me just handle that ball. And let's see what happens. Okay, it actually worked out well. So he got the ball faster, which is good. Broke the X, and it worked out well. But I think if we were to play that back, I think it would have been good if he let me have that ball, okay? All right, here's a perfect example too. So let's take a look at this one. We're going to rewind this a bit. I want you to look at where Fitzroy ends up after breaking the X in this situation. So here we have a serve, return. Now he takes that, which is fine. Back to me, I reset. Now here he sees the ball coming. It's coming from the player diagonal to me. And now this could be a good decision because he's taking time away from the opponent, as we said. But he's also running into the ball. So if he were set and ready for this, I'd say maybe it was a good decision. But I could have easily handled this as a forehand shot. And the question is, by him taking this, does he ice me out of the play, turning this into a 1v2? And can he recover to the open area of the court where a returned ball would probably go? Okay, so we'll pause there. So it worked out, so let's not, criticize too heavily. But certainly the right side of the court is completely open. So it was a risky move. Put a bit of stress on the situation, but it worked. So great. But that's probably a situation where the ball probably should have been mine. Okay, he's able to recover back to his spot. That's a good choice to break the X there. Comes across, he leaves it to me. That was great. Okay, so that was really well played. So in that situation, the X was respected. A couple times the choice was made to step in, but that was really good teamwork, good communication. All right. Oh, I actually got a decent drive there, which generated a pop-up, went out, and we got the point there. So that's exciting. All right, we got a serve. It's coming back to me. The X is being respected. Okay, went into the net. Now, again, I guess I shouldn't apply that to every shot. Really, respect the X only applies to center, where the ball is going through the center. A nice little rally here. Hopefully I don't screw it up. I don't know if Fitz does. Okay, good. I don't mind when my partner makes mistakes as long as it's not me, because I make plenty of them. But everyone played their roles really nicely in that rally, so well done. All right. Now it's going back to Fitz. That's a good choice. I couldn't handle it. I'm going to try and keep an eye on times when it looks like me and Fitz are kind of tangled up in the center and see if we can untangle it with the X. Okay, that's an interesting one right there, but let's just play that back a little bit. Who should have taken the shot? Let's go see if we can tell. All right, serve is coming up. Okay, return straight, and here we go. Okay, so in this situation, even though it's being hit diagonally, it's a very high poachable shot for Fitzroy. Unfortunately, I didn't recognize the truth of that situation, and instead, I'm reaching cross-body out in an awkward formation. If I can't reach this with two hands, if it's not coming directly to my body, I probably shouldn't be reaching for it. So in this situation, I should have recognized that Fitz had a good shot, and I should not have interfered. It worked out, but I'd like to see those little miscommunications disappear. I'd like to stop crowding him, is really the issue. All right, got a nice lob. Oh, it just went out. Good try, though. Okay, the score is 4-5. We're in the lead by 1 point. This, by the way, is the gold medal game at the PWA Battle of the West. This is the third game. It was a best of two. Oh, sorry, best of 3. Ooh, some lovely little dinking there. Now, okay, here's a really good example. Let's rewind this a little bit. Okay, so let's hit play. Now the ball's coming over here. He is hitting a cross-court dink. I am in the center because, or closer to the center, because I'm expecting that ball to come to me. Now Fitzroy decides to step over and take a forehand. I think he's going to take it out of the air. I'm not sure, but let's see what happens. Oh no, that's right. No, so that time it was good, but he could have left that for me. There's no reason for him to be in the center. So I return the dink. It's coming back again. Now he decides to step in, even though it looks like it's coming to my forehand on my side. And who's in a better position to hit this shot? I would say it's me. So if we're respecting the X, this shot especially should be left for myself. And Fitzroy should be on his side of the court, ready for any speed ups that might happen down the line or any shots directly on him. Now, because he was reaching, that created a pop-up, as we can see here. It's very hard to control shots when you're out of position like that. But he got a nice chippy dink on it, and we got the point anyway. So, good job, Fitz. So you can see how to respect the X, the principle, it really is a two-way street. It's not just that all these balls should be left for me, but it's also that I shouldn't be crowding him when it's obviously his. Oh, what a nice rally. And I even got the finisher. That makes me happy. That was a really nice rally. Okay, so we're switching sides now. Halfway through the match. Actually, I think there's only about... oh, yeah, we're halfway through. Okay. So now from our viewpoint, we're on the near side, myself, Dan, and Fitz. So we might get a bit of a different viewpoint here. Maybe we can see if we can still apply the principles. See if there's any crowding, miscommunication. Now, I will say, I dumped a lot of drives into the net. There's no excuse for that. It's something that I need to practice. What I'm really working on is third shot drive, fifth shot drop, and I just need to get more consistent. So that's something that will happen with drilling, but that's not really the topic of this video. Alright. Again, I'm just looking for opportunities where we seem to be colliding a little bit. So far, so good. The score is 4-6. We are in the lead by 2 points. We can taste the gold. Okay, so that was an interesting choice there. He came over, stepped in, took the forehand. It's not necessarily a bad choice, especially if it's a shorter shot, because he could put his forehand on it, get a good connection. It just didn't work out. That was a ball on court, so it's going to we're going to replay that point. So while we're waiting, guys, basically, like I said earlier, the point of this playlist, Amateur Hour with Dan, is going to be to take amateur games, probably mostly of my own, and we're going to try and apply one lesson per video. We'll go through the whole game, so you guys get to enjoy the game as well, but you're not going to see pro-level play, and you're definitely not going to get pro-level analysis. Okay, he broke the X there again, so I think this is a good spot to take a look. So, if we go back a little bit, here we go, let's try it again. Okay, so we have serve to me, Fitz is on the left, serve, return goes diagonal. Alright, in this situation, this player can choose to hit the ball down the line towards Fitz or towards me. Now, Fitz is in the center. He is not protecting his line. And this ball, if it goes diagonal, should really be left to me, I think. So he reaches over. Now, having said that, I was running forward, so perhaps I wasn't set well in my feet enough for this shot. My split step was terrible. So maybe Fitz was actually bailing me out. But let's see the result of this. Okay, because, again, he came over, maybe didn't get in the most athletic stance for this shot, and it generated a pop-up. Let's see what happens. But we're okay. We survive. Now, okay, that's good. Now, that was not helpful. So there's another one. Let's take a look at this. Again, I felt like, I think it might be right here. We're very much crowding the center. But this time, I think it's actually Fitz that needs to move over. Okay, here's the spot where he chooses to step directly in front of me, and the ball was traveling from my opponent on the axis. So, who should have hit this ball? I would say that it would probably be myself. All things being equal, we're all at the kitchen line. And because he decides to come over, we get a uncontrolled lob, which went out. So I think that's one example of where we could have respected the X. I'm not actually sure if I mentioned this either. This video is not to criticize Fitzroy. I think both of us could benefit from this principle. The other thing is, this was the first time that we've played together. We played a couple games before today, but really, as in a tournament setting, this is the only time we've played together this day. And we had not discussed Respect the X. It's not something that we were working on or had even discussed as a team. So really, this is after the fact analysis. I'm thinking that maybe it would have helped us. So probably next time we do a tournament together, I might bring this up or maybe share this video with him. It might help us to just have a little bit clearer communication as to who's taking which ball. But definitely not a criticism. I know that Fitz likes to play big, and I'm just trying to find a good way for me to not interfere with him. And maybe also to see where there's times that he's playing too big, perhaps. Alright, you know what? Let's rewind this point here, because I think this actually demonstrates when the opposing player has broken the X and how it turned out. So let's actually rewind this. And this is a nice little rally too. So here we go. Alright, I'm going to try and pause it when I think. So we're going to focus on the player at the back right. He's in the black tank top. And, oh yeah, so yeah, that's the one. So we're going to focus on the back right player. I forget his name. I think that's John Irwin. Excuse me. Okay, so he's going straight down the line. Fitz breaks the X. That's okay. So does he. Alright, so as you can see, he's playing big. So John Irwin is really playing big. He's coming over. He's taking shots that belong to his partner. His partner is iced out. He's essentially playing 1v2. And he's open on the far right. So let's see how this plays out. Okay, so again, that ball right there, that ball was shot by me. So it's going cross court through the center to the guy with the orange shorts. Now, instead, our big player here has decided to take that ball away. Now, it's not the end of the world yet, but he's still continuing to break the X on multiple occasions. So, I think what I'm noticing is that what ends up happening is when you break the X over and over and over again, it's almost like a snowball effect. You tend to take a little more than you should in order to, win that point. I'm going to talk. So this is what I kind of thought John Irwin fell into the trap of here, where he's trying super hard, which is great. But he's tried so hard that now he almost is overcommitted. And instead of then sharing the portion of the point when his partner should have taken the ball, he's continuing to bang, 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 trying to make his decision a good one. So it seems like that you end up off balance. At some point you end up off balance, and that's what happened at the end, and then he put it directly into the net. So I think breaking the X is a good decision in certain situations. We talked about when the forehand in the middle is the stronger forehand. We talked about when it takes time away from the opponent, especially in a poach situation. But I think overcommitting to that level of play without thinking about when your partner should take the ball seems to lend itself to a lot of imbalance. It starts feeling like a 2v1. And yeah, you usually lose the point that way. Maybe usually is wrong, but often. Let's say often. Okay, he broke the X there, but it seemed to be a good decision. We're hanging in. Oh, there we go again, John Irwin. Instead of letting his partner take the ball that was clearly going to be his, he jumped across. And I think there might be a little, like, this is for the gold, so there's pressure here. But by doing that, he was out of position. He's lunging, he's jumping, he's moving, he's not set in his shot, and it didn't work out well for him. And that didn't work out well either. So you'll notice that in that last point, one of the things that Tony Roig talks about is that the effect of breaking the X sometimes is that you end up icing out your partner. So in that last one, I'm not going to rewind it, but let's talk about it briefly. There was so much taken, there's so many balls that were being taken by Fitz that really I didn't know where to be. I didn't know when the ball was going to be mine, so I just kind of stood behind him, trying to be emotionally supportive, I suppose. And yeah, but I didn't know where I'm stepping in or where he was. So yeah, so I think that's part of the problem, is that if you're continually just breaking the X over and over and over, and there seems to be no good reason. I'm not saying that's the case, but maybe that's how it caused me to play back more, because I was iced out of the point. All right, here we go. Let's see. Oh, now that's nobody's fault. Oh, okay, yeah, by the way, that's a bad call. That's a bad line call. It's really actually hard to see the ground because it's all gray, different shades of gray. But in our defense, we both thought it was out, and there was a call earlier that was a bad call on their point, so it evened out. Everybody got one bad call. So we got about a minute left in this game. Oh, what a great shot by Fitz. Kept the opponents back. He took it out of the air, and nice finish on the backhand. Great angle, too. The score now is 9-7 for us. Serve return. Okay, perfect. Okay, we all respected the X there. And I dump it into the net. Oh my God. What can you do about bad decisions? Or bad execution, I suppose. Alright, well, he dumped it into that too, so there we go. It's 10-7 for us. Game's almost over. Serve return, and let's see a drive. Can't be handled. and the ball goes into the net. All right, so I hope everybody enjoyed my first analysis game for Amateur Hour with Dan. That was myself and Fitz. We got gold at the PWA West 26. Thanks to the District Padel and Pickleball Club as well. And thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. And try to respect the X and see how it goes. That's what I'm going to try. Have a great day, everybody.